Oliver from Rugby League in my opinion here, and recently I've been scrolling through my personal Facebook profile. Now you might be thinking, okay, what has that got to do with anything? That's your personal Facebook profile. This is Rugby League in my opinion we're doing a video for. What has that got to do with anything? Well, pre-Rugby League in my opinion, so pre-2017, I used to from time to time, okay, a fair bit, I used to put up statuses, giving predictions, etc. Just making random comments about the game, and honestly going back and scrolling through these made me cringe a fair bit. And I noticed that there are a few predictions I made that in 2021, by the way, Happy New Year, are very, very wrong. So I thought, you know what, let's get some content out of this. I'm obviously not going to reveal my personal Facebook profile, but I'll just take the statuses and put them on the screen as we go. But yeah, look, we're going to read out what the statuses were, and then we're going to discuss a bit and make a lot of fun of me. This video is going to make me look terrible. Got to keep in mind though, a lot of these statuses were made when I was in high school. I was around 14, 15, 16, so a lot of these takes are from an immature high school student, and I was a bit odd back then in terms of wasn't necessarily too bright, maybe in the common sense department and the rugby league department for in many cases. So anyway, enough rambling on, we're going to get to it, and yeah, this is going to be terrible. Okay, so growing up, I went through a few different Facebook accounts, as some people do. You forget your passwords, whatever, so I decided to go to one of my old Facebook accounts and do a quick look then to see if there was anything, and oh, there was something pretty good to start off with. I put this status out on the 15th of April 2016. What was the status about? It was my top 5 NRL players in 2020. A prediction, well now 5 years ago pretty much, and okay, let's just get right into it. So I saw this on tonight's pre-game show, so I thought I'd do one myself. Top 5 players in the NRL in 2020 in no order. Adam Reynolds, if he stays injury-free. Adam Reynolds, I think, had a decent season in 2020. I think he was a bit off for the first few rounds and then really got into his own and had a good season. End of the season, especially in South Sydney, from outside of the top 4, ended up making the preliminary finals. But do I think he's in the top 5 players in the game currently? Unfortunately, I have to say no. But let's see my reasons why. Well, it was if he stays injury-free. He has had some injuries since then, to be fair. I'm going to make a wild prediction and say that Adam Reynolds will be one of the greatest New South Wales halfbacks in history, and will help make them level with Queensland. I don't think he will play for Australia though, as I think the halves for Australia will be Morgan/Hunt. Don't worry, we will get to Morgan/Hunt in a minute. Oh, okay. He played a game or a series for New South Wales, and although he had a good kicking game, unfortunately not much else. To be honest though, when Nathan Cleary got dropped, sorry, he didn't get dropped, when he was injured for Game 3 in 2019, I thought, or was he injured? I thought that Reynolds probably should have replaced him if he wasn't injured. I know Reynolds was probably injured Game 1 and Game 2, and that might have been why Cleary actually got in over him at that point. But yeah, you know what? If Adam Reynolds had a really good season in 2021, that'd be awesome. That would be amazing, and maybe he still could be one of the greatest New South Wales halfbacks in history. Who knows? Number 4. Oh, Matt Moylan. Like Adam Reynolds, needs to stay healthy. That hurts. That hurts saying that. Although Matt Moylan apparently has been doing a lot of training, like sprint training and stuff like that this off-season. I hope he has a good year, but I'm going to say it now, not in the top 5 in the NRL currently, but I hope he has a big 2021. I'm rooting for him. I predict that he will end up leaving Penrith for a big club. Well, at the end of 2016, Cronulla won the comp, but I mean, they've been making finals, but not necessarily a huge club since Moylan's been there. And will become a star. I predict that he will have played for New South Wales by 2020. Tick. I believe he played in 2016. Maybe Australia. Tick. And possibly even a Dalian medal. Cross. So a couple of predictions that I made there came right, but not a top 5 player in the NRL currently, unfortunately. Michael Morgan. When Thurston retires, Michael Morgan will prove that he wasn't Thurston's sidekick, and I believe will lead North Queensland to a premiership. Well, he nearly did that. I know he wasn't retired, but I know Thurston wasn't retired, I want to say, but he nearly did that in 2017, guys. I mean, come on, from 8th, when he just hit that purple patch. And if I was reading this back at the end of 2017, I might have thought, I'm onto something here. Unfortunately, missed most of 2020. I mean, he should be playing in the halves next year for the Cowboys. I think that's where Peyton will play him, but excuse me, he could play in the centres. I mean, there's been ifs and buts. The Cowboys aren't doing too good at the moment. Not a top 5 player in the NRL, unfortunately. And I don't think he'll lead the Cowboys to a premiership, unfortunately. I like the Cowboys, but I don't think he will. Ben Hunt. Anthony Milford. Okay, well, spelling mistake there already. I think Anthony Milford leaving Brisbane and Ben Hunt will become the guy for the Broncos, and he will lead the Broncos to multiple premierships, and it will be exciting to see Hunt, Morgan and Reynolds try to outplay each other to prove who is the best. Okay, so this was in 2016. Why was I talking about Anthony Milford leaving Brisbane? Can you comment below? Were there rumours he was going to leave the Broncos at the end of 2016? Because I'm not sure. I mean, 2021 might be his last year there, considering they might not re-sign him unless he has a big year. But this isn't about Milford, it's about top 5 player Ben Hunt, obviously. Look, Hunt's a revelation when he plays hooker and when he's confident playing hooker, but I think Hook Griffin's pretty much said he's going to start him in the halves. He's still a serviceable half, but I believe his best position's hooker, and is he a top 5 player in the NRL? No, unfortunately not. Could be a top 5 hooker though, if they really allow him to open up and play there and they persist with him at hooker. Semi Radradra, and I believe I've misspelled his last name there. He has already become one of the game's big stars. True, I mean, I wouldn't say he was a top 5 player, but he was one of, if not the game's biggest star, probably in 2016, 17-ish, and will continue to be. And he will change the way people view wingers in the NRL. And I even see him winning the Dalian medal. Now, I played wing growing up, okay? I predicted a winger to win the Dalian medal, pretty much, guys. You know what? I think he did change the way people view wingers in the NRL. Since then, we've had the likes of Semi Radradra, Michaeli Ravalawa. I mean, we're talking Suliasi Vunivalu as well. Those big Fijian wingers coming in and really making a difference in the NRL and sort of changing the way, maybe not changing the way we view wingers as a whole, but maybe changing the way we see these big Fijian wingers coming in to play our game. And the style that they play is very good, especially when they're on. They are very hard to stop. So I might give myself the benefit of the doubt there. But is he a top 5 NRL player in 2020? Well, he's not in the NRL. He's not playing rugby league. So, gonna say no on that. Players who just missed the top 5. Tedesco, who is a top 5 player, I'd say. Moses Mbai. No. Chris Grevesmill. He's not playing anymore these days, but I believe I think I heard during 2020 that he wants to come back, so who knows. The Trevoh Bick brothers. Okay. Milford. Jack Bird, Valentine Holmes, Jake Granville, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. The only player out of this entire list, the honourable mentions, and the players that I've actually got on the list, that would be in my top 5 currently, is James Tedesco. You could make an argument for Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. Personally, I say no. He's around top 10, top 15 definitely. But yeah. Oh, Jake and Tom Trbojevic as well. Not necessarily all. Tom, when he's fit, could probably make top 5, but I just can't say it right now, but definitely like top 15. To end that one, also this is only a prediction and may not happen. 4 years is still a while away. Not anymore, it's not. And anything can happen, and don't be afraid to say who you think will be the top 5 player in the comments. No comments. So a lot of people really cared about what I said back then. I don't blame anyone for not commenting. Wow. Let's continue. Okay, the 21st of April 2016, Piggy Riddell should have got number 1. Sure. No idea what that status was about. No one reacted to it at all. Piggy Riddell should have got number 1. No context, no nothing. Amazing content by myself on my Facebook page. All of my Facebook friends must have been loving me back then. Piggy Riddell should have got number 1. Okay, 3rd of August 2016, we signed Hayne. Now we'll never make the 8 again. Obviously, speaking as a Gold Coast Titans supporter, this is when we just signed Jared Hayne. I was not happy, and in the end, not with the now we'll never make the 8 again thing, but I was right that he was a bad signing. I remember going to school the next day and everyone's like, you guys signed Jared Hayne, you guys are going to make the 8, possibly win the premiership now, you must be ecstatic. And I said no, because Jared Hayne is someone who at his peak was amazing, and someone when he is giving it his all and giving 100% was one of, if not the best player in the game. But in my opinion, and this is even before he went to the NFL. A lot of people say, oh, well, Jared Hayne's decline came before he went to the NFL. It was never really a decline. He was just a very up and down player. He would either overplay his hand, and this is at both the Eels and the Titans. The Eels, before he left, would overplay his hand a lot or not do enough. And every few weeks or so, he'd come up with a magic play to win the game or have a really good game, like once or twice in a 5-week period. And I'm not talking 2009, I'm talking more, you got to look probably 2011 onwards. Unfortunately, and I'm not trying to bag him as a person or anything, he's obviously got some stuff going on away from the game right now, I'm not going to touch on that, but I think I was right in the fact that he wasn't a great signing for the Titans, and 2017 proved that. You know, we made the 8, we snuck it, we were looking like we were going to push top 5. In 2016, then we signed Hayne and we just got into the top 8. He caused a lot of distraction. Neil Henry, who was a good coach, who you could argue, if not for the whole Jared Hayne situation, could still be at the Titans today, although I love Justin Holbrook. It ended up being very disruptive. Now we'll never make the 8 again. Obviously, as I said, the Titans did make the top 8 in 2016, so that one was wrong, but and I'm not going to show you guys, but scrolling through, I made a lot of statuses about Jared Hayne when he came back, and I was very critical. Every little mistake I posted about it. Annoying stuff. Okay, 28th of September 2016. Seriously, 4 Queensland players are all 4 nominees for Rep Player of the Year. Come on, at least put 1 New South Wales player in there. Now, I'm bringing this up, and sure, you can make an argument, maybe a New South Wales player should have been nominated. I don't know who the nominees were. I haven't checked to see who won. Great research by me. This is a display probably of my New South Wales bias. Queensland won the series 2015, 16, 17 after, and in my opinion, New South Wales won the series in 2014, but 2018 and 19 were better because we were genuinely the better side in 18 and 19. 2014, I think we got lucky in a couple of areas. But yeah, maybe, you know what, maybe they should have chucked a New South Wales player in there, just to be fair. All 4 Queensland nominees, come on, the most dominant side in rugby league in the past 2 decades or so, taking everything into account, come on. Surely have 1 New South Wales player in there up against that all-time great Queensland side. But yeah, I thought I'd chuck that in just to show a little bit of my New South Wales bias back then. Okay, 2nd of October 2016. This is the night of the 2016 Grand Final. I may just be in the moment, but 2016 Grand Final over 2015 Grand Final. Yeah. I am now someone who says that the 2015 NRL Grand Final is one of the greatest of all time. I was at the 2015 Grand Final, and that is still to this day the best rugby league experience I've had live. Probably the next day I went back to believing 2015 was better than 2016. I mean, don't get me wrong, Cronulla fans, obviously you'd hold 2016 in a higher regard. You know what? In terms of the actual game, from minute 1 to minute 80, 2016, you've got it there. But in terms of those moments, and any sport, right, no matter how good a whole game is, all the way through, or a whole match, it's those moments you remember. 2016 did have the big moment of Cronulla winning their first premiership in 49 years. We have the Cowboys though, beating the Broncos, Kyle Felt's try, the pass from Michael Morgan, the missed conversion by Jonathan Thurston, and the field goal from Jonathan Thurston. 2015 overall is better than 2016. You can argue 2016, but as someone who is very much a supporter of the 2015 Grand Final over the 2016, at least in my preference, looking back at this one made me chuckle a little. But you know what? Comment below. Which Grand Final was better, 2016 or 2015? Okay, so this is the last status we will be looking at today, from the 4th of April 2017. So we jump a bit into the future. Funnily enough, 4th of April 2017 was when rugby league, in my opinion, was created. So after putting this post up, I went and made rugby league, in my opinion. Let's see what this post was. I'm not a betting man, but I put my money on Cronk going to the Bulldogs. Apparently Reynolds has been asked to start looking elsewhere and has been shown interest by Cronulla. Probably the most logical choice for Cronk, as all the other teams that can afford him already have a first team half. Well, I was right that Josh Reynolds ended up leaving the Bulldogs. I mean, I don't remember whether they asked him to start looking elsewhere or he just decided to. That's a bit of a funny thing there, because he was still decent for the Bulldogs, even towards the end. Cronk to the Bulldogs. Imagine if that had happened. Imagine if that had happened. Do we get the Roosters making and winning the Grand Final 2018-19? That'd be thereabouts. Maybe they do it. Probably not. And the Bulldogs probably wouldn't have last made a final series in 2016 at the time of recording. Wow. And Reynolds to Cronulla. Well, let's think about that. Who did they have at the time? And this was while Cronulla were the defending premiers. They had James Maloney and they had Chad Townsend. Chatty T, still there. I was probably more basing this on Maloney eventually leaving, and he would leave and go to Penrith, but Cronulla get Moylan in return. Reynolds end up going to the Tigers, and it's now next season. I wish I had the jersey near me so I can pull it up, but he's headed to Hull FC. So good on him there, and he's really getting in with the Hull faithful, so that's great to see. Yeah, but imagine if Cronk went to the Bulldogs. Imagine the difference that would have made. Comment below. Would the Bulldogs have won a premiership if Cronk was there in 2018 and 2019? I think we can say they at least make a final series, but do they win the premiership? Let me know. And I can just see here, the very next status, considering making a Facebook page where I post all my NRL rants and opinions, rugby league in my opinion, so that the people that don't read them and don't care don't have to scroll through my multiple posts every weekend to do with the footy. And you know what? many of my Facebook friends were probably cheering and clapping, going, yes, create a page that we won't like so you can post all your stuff there. But now we are where we are today. So thank you for tuning in. That was a lot of fun, I guess, looking back. I had a fun time. Hope you had a fun time as well. Yeah, maybe we'll do a look back at another couple of years at some rugby league, in my opinion, takes that might have been a little bit out there. But thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.